Glossary for Lesson 6.
Androgynous. The term androgynous means to have characteristics of both sexes. Many pagan deities have androgynous forms, including Ishtar, Cybele, Shiva, and the famous Hermaphroditus, to name only a few. This refers to the idea that spirit and matter, represented as female and male, are not truly separate, but rather two aspects of the same force.
Asperse. To asperse something is to sprinkle it with less water for the purpose of cleansing, blessing, or consecrating it. The water may be the type of holy water you have learned to make in these lessons, or it may be any of the several other kinds of blessed water commonly used in magic. You will learn more about other kinds of blessed water that may be used for aspersing in future lessons.
Battery. A battery is a repository from which additional resources may be drawn as needed. In daily life, we most commonly think of the term battery in terms of the electrical batteries used to power appliances. In magic, we often create energy constructs to act as psychic batteries, drawing spiritual energy from them to assist our workings. This sort of battery is basically an artificially created energy vortex that increases the amount of energy available to us. Ceremonial magic. Ceremonial magic, or ceremonialism, is a magical tradition derived from Hermeticism and alchemical thought. It is followed by both pagans and Judeo-Christians. The ceremonial tradition has much in common with Wicca in its practices, but it also reflects much difference. Ceremonialism tends to be very precise and dogmatic, with a strong emphasis on the use of particular words, actions, and tools. Ceremonial magicians tend to see magic as compelling outside forces to act in their interest, whereas Wiccans tend to access their own powers or the ambient energies around them. The two groups are closely related and have often interacted. Many Wiccans have also been ceremonials, and vice versa. For this reason, you will find many ceremonial elements in modern Wicca.
Circle dance. The circle dance is one of the most ancient forms of ritual expression, dating back as far as anyone can guess. People joining hands and moving in a circle is as simple yet as profound a way to raise energy as one could ask for. At one time, this sort of dance was called caroling, and the songs used to accompany it still bear that same name when used in Yule celebrations. In his famous, if rather slanderous, picture of the Witches' Sabbath, Delancre shows several kinds of circle dance apparently used by medieval witches. Today, there are many forms of circle dance used in Wicca, but the most popular remains the simplest, simply dancing around the circle, hand in hand.
Devoke. To devoke is to release an energy construct you have created or an aspect of deity you have invoked. In common usage, the term devoke is used to describe a process of giving thanks to deity, taking down the quarters, and opening the circle.
Eleusinian Mysteries. The Eleusinian Mysteries were considered the most sacred religious rites of the Greco-Roman world. Held annually at Eleusis near Athens, the rites honored the goddess Demeter and her daughter Kore Persephone. There were lesser mysteries held in the spring, and greater mysteries held in the fall. The greater mysteries lasted for many days, and involved complex ceremonies and lavish processions. Would-be initiates were instructed in sacred ritual by experienced mystagogues, and led through the mysteries' epoptia, or secrets, by the Hierophantes. The mysteries included many famous initiates, but not one ever revealed the inner details of the rites.
Energy constructs. Energy is the basic substance from which the universe is made. It responds to thought and emotion, which give it shape and form. In magic, we often use thought and emotion to shape the energy into useful forms, such as the quarter towers. The resulting creation, a ball of white light, for example, is called an energy construct. Energy constructs have many uses. The magic circle, for example, by containing energy, intensifies it. Most commonly, energy constructs are used as batteries, that is, to add extra energy to our workings.
Fellowship of Isis. Founded at the spring equinox of 1576 Pisces, AD 1976. The Fellowship of Isis is the largest goddess-centered organization in the Western world. Fellowship of Isis members come from many religions, but they share a common reverence for and love of the feminine aspect of deity. The fellowship was founded by the Most Reverend, the Honorable Olivia Robertson, and her brother and sister-in-law, the late Baron and Baroness Robertson of Strathlock. It was headquartered in the family's ancestral home, Huntington Castle, in Clonmel, Ireland. Many of the leadership of the Crellian tradition are also members of the Fellowship of Isis.
Finger. Fingers are, of course, the digits found on the hand. They are very useful in magic. In many ways, tools such as the athame and the wand are only extensions of the finger, and as such, the finger can readily be used in place of that tool. Which finger to use, however? Usually you will use the middle finger or the index finger or both together. Each finger has a meaning of its own. The index finger represents the goddess and the feminine polarity. The middle finger represents the god and the masculine polarity. Both together represent divine union and are thus commonly used for blessings.
Great Rite. In Wicca, the term Great Rite is given to the physical representation of the union of goddess and god. In symbolic terms, this union is represented by the insertion of the athame, representing the god, into the chalice, representing the goddess. The Great Rite may be celebrated in other ways as well, including in some cases the physical union of a priestess and priest. Another term for the Great Rite is the Greek hierogamos, or sacred marriage. The Great Rite is considered one of the most sacred ceremonies of Wicca.
Magic circle. Used from ancient times, the magic circle is a common feature of most magical traditions. In Wicca, the magic circle is erected before most rituals and many magical workings. The magic circle is an energy construct that serves to amplify energy and also to confine and thus intensify it. Like all magical undertakings, the erection of the magic circle may involve certain physical actions, but it truly takes place inside the person doing it, on an astral or energetic level. Mummy case. A mummy case, as you might imagine, is a casket prepared to hold a mummy. A mummy is a corpse, preserved through drying. This can happen accidentally or through human art. The ancient Egyptians perfected the art of mummification as a means of preserving the bodies of their dead, which they regarded as sacred. The process of mummification and the complicated rituals that accompanied it took several months. The internal organs of the deceased were removed and placed in special canopic jars, sacred to the four directions. The mummy itself was placed in a mummy case, a human-shaped casket, often richly decorated, which bore an effigy representing the dead person's face. Then, if the family could afford it, the mummy case would be placed in a stone sarcophagus, similar to today's concrete vaults. According to Egyptian legend, the first mummy case was the chest in which the god Set trapped and killed his brother Osiris. Many mummy cases have come down from the Egyptians, some humble, and others exquisite exemplars of the jeweler's art. The most famous mummy cases are the 4 nesting mummy cases, made of gold and gems, for the pharaoh Tutankhamun. Today, with the modern revival of the art of mummification, this sort of elaborate mummy case is again being made, but on a much reduced scale.
Sacred space. Sacred space is space that is used for magical work or worship. Sometimes it is specifically prepared by cleansing or other magical operations whose purpose it is to change the vibration of the energy. In some instances, this change in vibration takes place as an automatic consequence of the activities taking place. In all cases, it is not the physical area itself that is sacred, but rather the special nature of energy that has been raised in this way that creates sacred space.
Shinto. Shinto is the indigenous religion of Japan. Centered around the worship of the kami, or deities, Shinto is strongly focused on nature and the natural cycles. The principal Shinto deity is the sun goddess, Amaterasu no Kami, who is the mythical ancestress of the Japanese royal house. Shinto places great emphasis on the worship of the ancestors, and on the importance of ceremony. It is an intensely local religion that varies from place to place and from temple to temple.
Taoism. Taoism is the name given to the popular form of Chinese paganism. The religion takes its name from the word Tao, which means the way, referring to the natural movement of energy in the universe. Though legend attributes the founding of Taoism to the sage Lao Tzu, its roots lie far back in Chinese prehistory. Taoism is a magical religion with a strong similarity to Wicca. For many centuries, Taoism was one of the three major religions that coexisted in China, the others being Buddhism and Confucianism. Yin-Yang. The symbol used to portray the nature of the union of the two polar powers. The yin-yang originated in Chinese Taoism and has a long history in Asia, but today it is used as a popular symbol around the world. The yin-yang shows the polar powers as two comma-shaped segments wrapping around each other within a circle or sphere. Yin, the feminine or spiritual force, as shown as dark, while yang, the masculine or physical force, is shown as light, and each contains a small portion of the other.